Hi boys and girls. I wonder how often have you been told to wash your hands? Now maybe in this last year you've been told to wash your hands a lot more often than you would normally do. And you're told about how important it is to wash them carefully, to use plenty of soap, to use warm water, and to wash for at least 20 seconds. Isn't that the instructions that we're given? And sometimes we maybe think, oh, not again. But I want to ask you another question. You think washing your hands is bad? How would you react, or how do you think you would react, if I was to be at your home and I say to you, I want you to wash my feet? I can almost see your reactions. You're probably going, ugh, I wouldn't want to do that. Those smelly, stinking feet that have been in your shoes and your socks. No, it wouldn't be very nice. But how do you think you would feel if you had to wash the feet of everyone who comes into your house? It'd be bad enough if it was just me. In fact, that would be terrible. But if you had to go to everyone who comes in and you had to sit down on your knees and take a basin of water and wash their feet and then take a towel and dry off their feet, it wouldn't be very nice. And I'm sure there's none of you that would say, I want to do that. But in Bible times, there were no tarmac roads or concrete paths. There was just lots of dry, dusty soil. Maybe paths that were beaten down, but they were still really dusty, especially when there was lots of dry weather. And people in those days didn't have shoes like we do. In most cases, they wore sandals and they didn't have socks. And as they walked around, all the dust from the dirty roads all got in around their feet. And I'm sure it would have been very uncomfortable. And so the tradition was that when you went into somebody's house, you had your feet washed. And you really needed to do that because your feet were really, really dirty with all the dust. And you wouldn't want to be walking around someone's house and making it all dusty from your feet. And so the servant who had the lowest importance was always told to wash the feet. And I'm sure it wasn't a nice task to do. It was the one who was least important that had to wash the feet. But then we have the story about Jesus that we read just a few minutes ago. And we're told that the disciples were having a meal together in an upstairs room, and nobody had washed the disciples' feet. Nobody had washed Jesus' feet. So it was going a bit against the tradition of what should have happened. But Jesus got up, got a basin of water and a towel, and he went round each of the disciples and washed their feet. Now he was the last person that should have been expected to wash feet. He was the teacher of all the rest of the people in the room. But Jesus insisted that he was going to wash their feet. In fact, Peter said, "You're not washing my feet." And Jesus said, "It's really important that you let me wash your feet. Otherwise, you can't follow me any longer." And at that point, Jesus said, "Don't just wash my feet then. Wash my hands and my head as well. Wash me all over." But Jesus said, "That's not necessary." But Jesus did that to show that even though he was the most important person in the room, he was prepared to do the worst job that anybody would be asked to do as a servant. God is telling us that he wants us. And in fact, Jesus said to the disciples, "I want you to follow this example." God wants us to be prepared to do anything for him. There should be no job that we're not willing to do. And so I wonder, boys and girls, and mums and dads and all as well, will you serve God no matter what he asks you to do? No matter what that task is? And remember, he loves you, he cares for you, and he will help you to do all those things because he's always there to help you. Now we're going to sing your hymn together. It's called "I Am Special, Loved, Accepted and Forgiven."